Hi, this is Daniel O'Connor from Warbit, and this video is all about how lab users are using Warbit to save money and make their organizations more sustainable. So using Warbit in labs, research and the healthcare environment. Any questions, give me an email on daniel@warp-it.co.uk. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll give you a little brief overview about how Warbit works, how it's being used in labs. I'm then going to go into a bit of detail and actually demonstrate the web service. I'll show you how to add and claim an item with regards to being in a lab, how to loan items out, the controls that are there to stop anything going wrong and reduce risk. And I'll also talk a little bit about the metrics and the KPIs that the system generates. And then we'll jump into some case studies. Okay, Warbit is an online, customizable web service that allows your staff to redistribute surplus assets inside the organisation or beyond. You log in, you can redistribute your surplus assets, you can give away or loan them out or sell and rent within the same organisation or between organisations. So how this works is we make internal collaboration much more easy by building internal marketplaces where staff who are about to buy new can check if other staff have surplus assets already. When I say surplus assets, I mean anything from stationery, furniture, but we're talking about lab equipment here. So lab equipment, lab supplies, lab consumables, okay? This is how it looks. It looks just like Amazon and eBay, where there's a photo and a little description about the asset. So we set these marketplaces up inside institutions. The institutions can keep those marketplaces private for staff only, okay? But if they want, they can also friend or link up with other organisations in the area or within their specialism to swap surplus assets across organisational boundaries. Now that's customisable. A lot of our customers have private networks just for staff only. A lot of them also link up with other organisations. For example, Aberystwyth University, their first trade on the Warbit system was to claim an audio room from Bath Spa University. Okay. So what's the benefits? The simple benefit is that we create these marketplaces that staff that are about to buy new can check. And they check it to make sure that other staff don't already have that asset subject to requirement. So what this does is it stops the procurement of new assets. We also reduce waste in labs because if you match a donator with a recipient, there's no waste. So let's talk about how the loan feature benefits lab on the system, as well as donation of assets. You can loan assets out. This is in labs. This is particularly useful because a lot of lab kit has high cost but low usage. So the high-end items, highly technical items, are not only used once in a while. Well, you can loan those assets out to other departments within your institution or rent them out. Also, certain funding requirements dictate that you can't donate an asset at the end of its life. This is a nice way to actually loan out assets that have some sort of conditions attached to them. And also you must remember this is in situ loaning, so the asset can stay where it is but just be loaned out for use, or the asset can actually move as well physically. The Warbit system is also being used very heavily for lab clearances, because with lab clearances there's usually a fast turnaround. You can preload the assets up front well in advance. Other staff, or externally if you want, can book your assets. So when the lab clearance date comes, all of those assets are already booked out. Just to highlight, the system has high levels of hard and soft controls. By hard controls, I mean it stops people doing certain things. By soft controls, I mean they're quite passive in some cases where it's just advice to staff. And these controls are all customizable, okay? So you can control your staff, you can control what sort of assets they're adding, and you can also control how you liaise with partners. For example, when I say partners, I mean external organisations. You might want to link up with one organisation but not another, so you can control that. So just some examples of the hard controls that we use. When a staff tries to add an asset to the system, there is a comprehensive drop-down menu, so they don't have to actually put in the name of the asset. They can choose the asset from the list, and that list is customizable for your own organisation. When a staff tries to add an asset from a lab environment or from an electrical, let's say, so let's say they're adding a hot plate, there are certain things that will pop up and lead the staff member down the right route to describe the item accurately. So in this case, it has this hot plate got an electrical safety test, and has it been biologically and chemically decontaminated. And the administrator of the system can actually customize these safety checks so they can add their own tick boxes and drop down menus. And so this is just an example where an admin has added these questions, but these are editable, so you can customize these checks. And this is to reduce risk and improve safety. Staff can also add as much detail as they want when they're adding an item. So here is how it looks. I pulled this off yesterday. Here's a fume cupboard, and you can see the details, you can see the organisation, you can see when it's available, and you can see that it has a PAT test or an electrical safety test, and it's been decontaminated. Okay. Just touch a little bit on the metrics. We track every claim, so we know the average value of the claim, we know the weight associated with the claim, we know the carbon value as well. Internal savings on procurement, internal savings on waste. We know the value of assets coming into the organisation. We know the value of assets going out, either to other organisations or to charity, for example. The value of these metrics are that they are really powerful for reporting the benefits that reuse is bringing your organisation. Once you can add some robust data onto the trades, well, the first thing is it increases staff participation. The second thing is senior staff get more interested, they see the amounts that they're saving, and they put more resources in, okay? And this is also a great way to audit your system, so we always know who put an asset on, who took it off, and what they agreed to. Just to wrap up on the overview, this is a win-win-win. So you save on procurement costs because you can trade internal assets and external assets. You save on waste costs. You also avoid this situation where waste items are put into skips, and this is a cost saving, but also it's a reputational saving, because if staff or visitors see items in your skips, they think this is a wasteful organisation. And also another win is that you can pass your surplus assets to universities, to colleges, to schools, to not-for-profits. Okay, so there's a great benefit there to the community. Just wrapping up on the overview. Any questions, send them to daniel@warbit.co.uk. I'm now going to jump into the web service and demonstrate the software as it works. So let's talk about Warbit for Labs. So Warbit's an online platform where staff swap and trade surplus assets, but it's particularly useful for lab areas and lab kit. What I'd say is to explore the website, warp-it.co.uk. If you're in any of these countries, just click on these buttons and explore the website. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log in and I'm going to show you how it looks from a user point of view, okay? So I'm logged in into my demo account. So assume that this is just an organisation or an institution. You would see your organisation logo here. Straight away when you log in, you can see items that are about to expire inside your organisation. You can see items that have just been added, and you can also see what other people are looking for. So there's a wish list function. If you log in and you search for, let's say, an ambient cabinet, but you don't find one, you can add it to your wish list and you'll get an email should anyone ever add an ambient cabinet to Warbit, okay? So let's add an item relating this to lab kit. This is the upload form where your staff would add items. Now we keep this form, we need to balance it between being too onerous but getting the right amount of information. And in labs, the right amount of information is really critical, okay? So let's just pretend we are disposing, or we need to find a new home for a mass spectrometer. Used mass spec will be the headline. Now I just need to start putting in mass into here to categorise it and try and find a mass spectrometer. Great. So that's now categorised as a mass spectrometer, okay? You'll notice that we can give away or loan the item out. Let's do giveaway first. So we've got one of these mass spectrometers, okay? Condition is, well, let's say it's fair. Location is my office. Let's say it's available from today and I want to advertise it for a few weeks. If this was part of a building clearance, I might put this date as the date that the building is being cleared or the lab is being cleared, okay? Now for photos, it's always good to upload the original photo, so you would do that in the usual fashion where you upload from your hard drive or from your smartphone or tablet. Also, if you don't have photos, you can pick from a photo library, so let's just do that for the time being. You'll notice that these pop-ups have been activated because we've added an item that is electrical and it's from a lab. let's just say it's been decontaminated, and we'll have the electrical safety test. Now, obviously that isn't enough information for the average lab user, okay? You can enter much more information. Colour and finish, everything you need to do is there, okay? Also at the bottom, you'll notice there are 2 questions, and this is a tick box, and this is a yes, no, okay? The administrator of the system can customize these questions, okay, or remove them altogether. So let's add that mass spectrometer, and you'll be able to see that in the marketplace in a second. But I also would like to show you how we loan an item out. So let's just, we'll add another like this, and this will adopt exactly the same criteria as before, but let's just say we've got another mass spectrometer. So we're going to add another like this, another mass spectrometer, but we're going to loan it out this time, okay? Same heading, we've already categorised it as a mass spectrometer. If you wanted to loan something else different, you just recategorise it. And we want to loan it out this time, okay? There's one item, the dimensions are the same, the condition is the same, the location is the same. The available from date we'll keep from today, but we would like to advertise this item out for forever, basically. We'll keep the same photos, okay? We'll also agree that we've got an electrical safety test and it's been decontaminated. We'll keep that in. You can add more detail if you want. Now let's look at the loan information. So let's tell them about the damage. Let's keep it as a freebie this time. Now, importantly, there is now a loan agreement. This is customizable by the administrator of the institution's web portal, okay? So let's add that item. Now let's show you what these items look like on the system, okay? So I'm going to do a blank search to start with. So up here, orange magnifying glass. So you'll see we have this marketplace where you can search for assets, okay? And all these different assets are available. You'll notice you can search within the organisation, you can search regionally, and you can actually search nationally as well. Let's have a look for our mass spectrometers. So here's the 2 we've just added, okay? 2 used mass spectrometers. Let's click in and have a look at this one. So let's just pretend that I'm looking for a mass spectrometer today. I can see that there's one online within my organisation. You know, I can ask a question about it. I can see this is available now if I want it. It's been electrical safety tested. It's been decontaminated. You'll also note we added an image library photo, so there's a little caveat there. But let's go ahead and claim this, okay? So I've clicked claim. What happens now is the new owner, i.e. me, I'll get an email telling me exactly how I need to transfer this asset from A to B. And the old owner gets an email which informs them of the person that's claimed them and tells them what to expect next as well, okay? And hopefully those 2 will meet and exchange a mass spectrometer. That's usually done by a porter or somebody who's responsible for moving items around a building. And then you've completed a trade. The person donating has avoided any waste hassles. The person who's claimed the item has avoided purchase costs, okay? So here's the loan item. The same mass spectrometer, obviously, remember we repeated the details. So mass spectrometer, this item is for loan hire only. You can loan this item between 1 and 5 days. It has all the necessary information, okay? And at the bottom here, we can look at the booking list. So it's not available on these dates. I would like it for this date only. And actually, let's take it for 2 days just in case I don't get my experiment done. I agree to the terms of the loan agreement, and remember this is a customizable agreement, and you can add any other checkboxes in this facility if you wish as well. So you might have extra checks and measures that you want your staff to agree to, okay? So we'll book that item. What happens now is the owner gets an email telling them I would like to book their item. They approve that loan, and when they say yes, again, we can meet and trade the item, okay? So let me show you some more of the search facility, okay? So I've just done a blank search there. You'll notice that some items are available now, okay? But some items aren't available yet. This is because they're part of either a lab clearance or a building clearance or a room clearance, and staff are still in that room, okay? So let's have a look at these easy chairs. They're available from the 30th of September. The item's not yet available, but what I can do is I can add it to my watch list and I will receive an email when that item becomes available. Okay, so then I can claim the item, which is great for lab clearances because you've got that quick turnaround where you're emptying the lab, you're doing all the work you need to do, and you're bringing some other fittings back into the lab again. Okay. Let me also show you how we search in other organisations. So this tab here is for other organisations, or this tab's for regional. Let's look at other organisations. So this is live data. So you might be about to buy some assets, but you can actually find them in other organisations. This is a good way, again, to save money. Let's relate this to lab kit though. I did see some fume cupboards. So you can see here, I've searched for fume cupboards. We've got 3 fume cupboards here and they're available on the 25th of September. So this is within another organisation, the organisation Decatur University. The items aren't available yet. You can see all the details there. You can see how many is available. Okay. You can ask a question about the item. You can see 4 other people are already watching this item because it's obviously a high value item. But you will see that you can still save money, save on procurement costs by claiming assets off other organisations. What's important to remember is this aspect of the site is customizable. The administrator can actually control what staff see, so the administrator can actually keep the network private so that staff don't see externally at all. Okay, or the administrator can control it so staff can see just certain partners. Okay, so the administrator can turn on turn on and off these tabs. So I've covered how to add an item. I've covered how to search for items. I've covered how to loan out items. I've covered how to claim items, and I've also covered a little bit about the wish list and watching items as well. So the wish list is where you do a search, you can't find that item, you add it to your wish list, you get an email if anybody ever puts that item on. When you watch an item, it's because it's not available to you yet, so you add it to your watch list and you'll get an email when the item becomes available. I'm going to jump into the admin account now and just show you a little bit around the admin account. And this is about controls and measures on the system to make sure that assets are transferred in a safe and legal manner. Now, the administration of the system allows control and it allows the system to match your policies and procedures. But what's important about the admin view is that there are settings, and these settings are to control how users behave, control how your linked up partners behave. You can control assets, you can control whole categories of assets as well. So for example, you might want to remove items which hold data because of a data protection risk. You can also customize all the messages that the system sends. So this is a passive way of controlling staff. Well, on any web service you get notifications. It's the same on Warbit. You'll see that when a staff member engages with the system, there are all sorts of messages that get sent, and the administrator can customize these messages to make sure that staff are behaving in the correct manner. For example, I'm going to scroll through a little bit here. When a staff member claims an item, they get this message. So, hi, Joe Blogs, I can confirm your claim has been successful, list the item details, and it gives all the details there. But at this point also, you might want to add in how the item might get transported around the organisation. So you might want to put the details of any porter in system or any supplier who will move the item around. So that's the notifications. And also, finally, I want to show you how we audit into the system. All of the transactions you can download as an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV spreadsheet. Okay, and so that covers everybody who's traded on the system. Okay, so you can drill into that for any audit purposes. Also, we give you the summary performance data of the system, so we track all the value of the trades. So we know the avoided costs, we know the avoided carbon, we know the avoided waste produced, we know how much you've given to charity, how much you've given to other partners. Okay, so it's just important just to. Okay, so that wraps that up. I'm now going to cover the case studies. Okay, so jump straight into case studies. So this is what Warbit looks like in your organisation, in your institution, and you'll see University of Glasgow doing quite well, saving almost £250,000. Let's look at some others. So this is NHS Tayside. This is a hospital, saving £93,000. Okay, this is UCL, a large research organisation institution in London. saving £300,000. Okay, so what I'd say to you is to go onto the site. There's lots of case study material. So go to getwarbit.com and click on the case studies. Okay, and the case studies give some insight into how the system is being used in other organisations. In particular, the University College London, they use the system basically for lab equipment. Okay, so that's worth reading. Okay, take that, take what you can from that. There's also a lot of stuff online about UCL's use of Warbit, and also you might want to look at this National Institute for Biological Standards and Control. This is a central government organisation. It was, again, it's a medical research organisation, and have a read of those case studies. If you've got any questions, you can drop me an email at daniel@warbit.co.uk. What I'd suggest is, if you are interested in this service and you think your institution might be interested, we can do an online demo for you and various interested parties in your organisation, and we can go into a bit of detail about how this might work in your organisation with your particular policies and procedures. So to book in an online webinar, an online demo, just drop me an email and we can set that up at a time that's convenient for you and your interested parties. To summarise, I give you an overview of Warbit right at the start there on the PowerPoint. I've then gone into a bit of detail. I've shown you how to add an item for giveaway. I've shown you how to add an item for loaning out. I've shown you how to claim those 2 items as well, okay, and book it out on the loaning feature. I've talked about wish lists, I've talked about watch lists, and then I've shown you a little bit about the case studies. What I'd say is that our organisations, and for the very first time, our customers are tracking the value of their reuse within the organisation. So you might do something ad hoc now, but you're not putting a value on it. Once you put a value on it, strange things happen. You get much more participation, but also senior management notice the savings and they add more resources into the reuse process to make it even better. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Have a great day. Drop me an email at daniel@warb-it.co.uk. Hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye.